Greetings, 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 everyone. How are you? You know, it's been a week, so I'm waiting for YouTube to launch and see if it's going to blow our ears out or if I'm going to have to hit mute real quick. Stand by. It's greetings. Yep, there. Now I'm getting fast at this. Hey, everyone. Happy Sunday. It is a special edition. Sorry we missed Friday, but I had to do a trip out to Vegas and travel just got in the way. I couldn't bring my studio with me, but we weren't going to let you down. We weren't going to let you go, 2 weeks without an update, especially with all the good things that are happening right now. Heck no, man, it's Sunday and we're here. And on with me is Yoga Dude. We have El McMurphy, and we have in the background, we have Max Freeman. I am getting a little bit of feedback from someone's mic.
Sounds like me for some reason. 1 second.
Yeah, I'm hearing a conversation in the background.
That's you, sir. That's blame yourself. You're talking on my screen.
Oh, it's me talking?
My
okay.
bad.
Okay, wait. But anyway, so was out in Vegas, and I just kind of want to open up the show, and I'm going to do a little screen share. Now, Max, this is going to upset you a little bit. I know it is, because you take your privacy very, very seriously. But you and I met out in Vegas a couple of different times and really had some productive conversations. And I just thought I would do a joke on Max. We were going through this casino, and there was a bar, and then there was an area where there was a band up there. And I looked down at my phone and I said, "Whoa, Max, Epic just blew through $3." And it took him 2 seconds to be able to get out on the dance floor. And I'm sorry, Max, but I have to show people who you are. You're really Max. Oh, that's too loud.
There you go. Opening credits from the center. Yeah. Maxine Davis right there.
Yeah. I just had to open with that. That broke my ears. I hope it didn't break everybody else's. But Max, now everyone knows what you look like, buddy. Sorry about that. But two other things, and I'm gonna show you these two clips, and we're gonna comment them on a little bit. These next two are serious, just because we want to give people a little bit of time to get in here because we have a couple of very, very big special announcements. This is just, I think it was a week or two ago, we were talking about the central bank digital currencies, the CBDCs, and this TikTok video came up, and I thought it was relevant, and it's kind of what we were talking about. Let me make sure this one doesn't blow our ears out. But just let's give this a listen. It's not very long.
Now, as you know, they are censoring me for keeping up to date with the news and spreading it everywhere. In Jamaica, the central digital bank currency is coming out. It's called Jamdex, and they're bribing people with a $16 deposit into their Jamdex central digital bank currency. As we know, this is going to create a lot of corruption. It's also going to remove all our freedom, and we know it's programmable, so they can allow you to buy certain things or to disallow you to buy certain things. If they don't think you can have alcohol or cigarettes, for instance, then can't buy that. Or maybe the carbon credit's a little bit too much on that, so you can't buy that. Or maybe the social credit score comes in with your central digital ID, which we see in Canada. When you merge these two together, then your social credit score means you can't buy that. This is the end of our freedom. And as we know with our governments, they coerce, they bribe, and they blackmail. How much are they going to bribe the sheeple of the UK to move on to effectively the mark of the beast system we see coming in globally in different sections across the world? Spread this video.
All right, is that Max? Is that a concern? Should we be concerned? And Epic Cash, can it be a solution?
Thankfully, we have the solution.
Indeed, indeed. But yeah, it's really interesting how people are starting to wake up to that. And this one I just heard maybe an hour before, and I would love your commentary on this, Max, because I think this is why our ecosystem exists. I think you actually knew all of this was coming. So let me get this guy teed up, and here we go.
If you own any Ethereum, this is critical information. And unfortunately, this news is darker than anybody was hoping to hear. That is because new information was leaked that unveils corruption within the Ethereum ecosystem. And this is a system many thought to be corruption proof. It all evolves around JP Morgan and this man right here. So strap in, because this is going to be a long one. The first thing you need to know is that this man, Joseph Lubin, is the co-founder of Ethereum. An early video was released of Lubin telling early investors of Ethereum how to hide their actions as crypto whale. This leads many to believe that Lubin has many crypto wallets and is disguising them, meaning he holds a larger position than originally thought. But here's where it gets crazy. It was revealed that Lubin not only was a co-founder of Ethereum, but the owner and founder of Consensus. Now hang in here with me, because this gets complicated, but I promise it all connects. Because Ethereum relies on a system called Infura, which is actually owned by Consensus. And Consensus is owned by Lubin himself. So he holds much more power in the Ethereum ecosystem than people ever imagined possible. So this does not look good for Ethereum, but unfortunately there is even more. You may be surprised to learn that Consensus also owns MetaMask and the intellectual property associated with it, or at least it did. That is because something insane happened in August of 2022. Mysteriously, the intellectual property for Infura and MetaMask was transferred to a different entity called CSI. And this was done secretly without the permission of the shareholders of Consensus. But unfortunately, that is still not all, because there was one major stakeholder in this new company, CSI, that would shock you. And is the mega financial institution JP Morgan. They bought a controlling stake of CSI. This now means that a major financial institution owns the infrastructure that is critical to keeping Ethereum running. And all of this was done in total secrecy before whistleblowers and shareholders released this information to the public. So be careful when you believe that these blockchain protocols are corruption proof, because unfortunately the truth is much darker. And this is a huge revelation for Ethereum, and unfortunately I believe we will see more revelations from other blockchains come in the future. So welcome to the Cryptonaut.
What do you think of that, Max?
I recommend everyone read a book by Laura Shin called Kryptonians that describes the history of Ethereum and how it came together and its ecosystem, and Joe Lubin and Anthony D'Iorio and Vitalik himself and Hoskinson and Gavin Wood and all these guys. Yeah, absolutely. Not just Infura and MetaMask reveal the dirty little secret of what I call fake decentralization, which is that you can have geofencing and arbitrary denial of service. Also OpenSea, I believe, is geofencing users. But also the Ethereum roadmap, it depends on moving to proof of stake. And proof of stake has many of these same issues on steroids. You're making these political issues fundamental to the actual operation of the network itself. You can't rely on mathematics, proof of work, 0 + 1 = 1 in a political context. 0 + 1 = whatever they want it to be. So you're getting to a different type of ball game, and I'm glad that increasingly people are recognizing the high integrity design choices that we made to not compromise on certain things. Are you trust minimized or trust less? Are you mutation resistant or are you immutable? There are shades of gray on all these types of issues. And in every case, we chose to be resistant to these types of things. And I think that as the environment gets tougher, and this is mostly regulatory driven, but also strategic and even geopolitical now, it becomes very messy, except if you have a credible basis of neutrality, as we do. And these, let's say, Bitcoin original design style systems that are completely beyond these types of things. So I would say any network that is not centralization resistant as one of its core principles is going to face a real uphill battle and have headwinds. And really that just clears the field for us. Everything I'm seeing makes me more bullish than ever about everything that we're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great. Okay. Well, now we have 20 people watching, and guess what? Looks like we only have 7 thumbs up. So how about everybody go in there and give that a little thumbs up, and comment, please comment. I'm learning that helps the YouTube algorithm be able to say, hey, come watch this. So that would be fantastic. Let us know where you're chiming in from, whatever. But okay, hey, we have 2 updates. One is really, really great, and the other can be really, really great. Kind of depends on us. But the first one that's really, really great, long time coming. I'm just going to hand it over. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm going to hand it over to Yoga, and the floor is yours, sir.
Should I drop my voice and sound mysterious like a TikTok guy from his mom's basement?
Yeah.
So this is pretty big news, guys. No, not feeling that one. Okay.
Not feeling.
So folks, just to let you know, E3 is here without much of a preamble. We already updated the seed servers last night. And in fact, for the folks that were wondering, a week ago or when we announced it and we said, hey, it's done, we actually had a small group of people start running E3 tech on the mainnet just to kind of soft test it, stress test. Well, not really stress tested, but soft test it. And it works, and it's pretty awesome. Today, we're planning on update the binaries. In other words, we're going to open it for everybody. So it's going to be epic.tech/download area where you normally get your binaries. And we'll have E3 server and E3 wallet. Wallet is a product of our own amazing developer, Poolboy. It is a GUI wallet. It is. It comes with a host of really awesome features. Everything that people really voiced as kind of a wish list, he implemented. So this has been a pretty amazing product. So 2 for 1. E3 is live. One thing that I would recommend today. Since Vitex is going to be updating this evening, this is their Monday coming up. Our Sunday on the East Coast is their Monday morning, Sunday night, Monday morning. So by tomorrow, all the network should be on E3. And
that's awesome.
We'll just keep moving forward. Miners, everybody. If you're mining to a pool, the pool operators need to update, but the miners, if you're just mining using mining software, that hasn't changed. So, and what E3 did is it enabled a lot of hooks, a lot of functionality to be accessed by developers. And one of the best examples you're going to see is this new wallet that is also going to be on the download section. And this will completely replace the old GUI wallet. We're going to retire it. We are very grateful for it serving us so long, but it's like that first car you had in college, maybe, like as good as it was and as fond of memories as you had with it, comes a point where you gratefully retired. So
Quick question.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I went through the process because I wanted to download the GUI wallet and just try to send some over. And Zeke from the Epic Cash help desk was fantastic.
Mhm.
And so I had to do that I downloaded, and then I had to download ngrok, and I was able to get a whopping 40 coins over there just to test. I didn't want to do more because I just don't trust myself. But so that wallet, when I download the new wallet, does it just kind of overwrite the wallet, or will I have to send coins from the 40 coins to the new?
No. It's your spot on the blockchain. So the wallet just reads. The wallet is a passive. Well, I mean, the GUI is a passive instrument that just lets you see your nook on the blockchain, if you will, and move things from there. So the wallet will connect to your, to your.
So it's like a new user, a new user interface.
It's like a new skin, yeah, like a new user interface. It's an app that essentially connects to the same, to the same data. It's an updated app, a vastly improved app that connects to the already existing data. So the user experience should be.
If I wanted to send more coins then from Vite over, I wouldn't have to go through the ngrok process anymore. It would.
Right. You'll have different options. You'll be able to, you'll still be able to use ngrok if you want for some reason, or if you, et cetera. You'll just have more options.
Okay. So
so it doesn't get rid of some of the legacy stuff that people were comfortable with. If some people just want to send straight to the HTTPS, to the IP, you can still do that. Okay. If you want to send it over Tor, you can do that. If you want to send it over ngrok, you can do that. And
I2P.
I2P, sure. Robert, shout out to Robert and I2P and all that quirky stuff. So yeah, all of it. So it's good to have options, and everybody gets to decide for themselves, what's their comfort zone, what's their, so that's.
Is it possible? Is it as easy as this for me to find an address in the new, let's just call it Pool Boy wallet? Find an address, go to my Vite wallet, and just hit, I guess it would be withdrawal. Cross chain withdrawal, put that address in, and boom, hit send? Or do you have to do anything funky on the other side to receive it?
I personally, considering how cheap transactions are with Epic, I really recommend on the Epic blockchain, how cheap the Epic transactions are. I personally recommend sending stuff first to your local node if you're, and then sending it, to somebody else. And this is strictly as a kind of a customer service situation. So if there are two parties involved and you're not one of them, and something doesn't connect for whatever reason, a typo or whatever, right? Then you can have two parties kind of going, well, I thought I did what I was supposed to do. And the other party goes, well, I thought I did. If you run it through yourself, this is the same reason I don't recommend like mining pools, people withdrawing from their mining pool straight to Vitex. I recommend withdraw it to yourself. And then,
but my question was, that's what I meant. If I have my new GUI wallet, if I download the new GUI wallet, if I do cross-chain withdraw from Vitex and send it to my address, that I guess would be, as you say, my node, or my wallet, there's just two parties. It's me and me. And
okay, I see what you're saying. The one thing that, so because Vitex doesn't support Tor addresses, so I'm not sure that functionality, they always have the option, I guess, to include that functionality. But to send to a Tor address from Vitex, I don't think it'll get resolved because Vitex wallet doesn't use onion address system.
We could see if they could add it. Uncle just asked.
It's okay. No, that's actually a really good edge case, and it's something that's that we'll definitely look at. But as it stands, it's something that you can't do right now. And plus, again, even if you can, you really should.
I would have to use. I'd have to use ngrok then to do it.
or an IP or whatever. Yeah, because at its core, and this becomes not an Epic issue, but a White Wallet issue, as ironic as it is.
Right, right.
We
Right.
will ask them, to see if they can update it
Mhm.
to remove that point of friction. That would be a
Mhm.
great thing to
Yeah,
see
but a
if we can get them to do.
great use case. Yeah, great question and great use case. So we'll definitely pursue that one.
And
Okay.
those, and for the benefit of those listening, 2,000 people in our chat room every day. Hey, can you guys go get on Binance or do this and that? Why didn't we think of that? A lot of things like that. If you really peel the onion and go, okay, look at reasons why not. Something that makes sense hasn't happened. Perhaps the Binance is a bad example because that is by design. But something like institutional custody is really a major blocker for people to be able to own us, or multi-signature wallets, or payment proofs. That's another one of the things we get with E3. Certain integrations just could not be done at a technical level because we had to get the capabilities in place. And then once you do have the capabilities in place, it doesn't happen by itself. You have to go make it happen. So E3 is in many ways about painting or creating a bigger canvas for us to paint on, and removing barriers and blockers to fulfilling our destiny.
Okay.
One of the things E3 enabled going forward is introduction of our own moving wallet, mobile wallet, which is actually in the works, and nearing completion. And that's going to be another powerful experience. And that one will have the Tor functionality, for example.
Yeah, so that would be would that be the Diego wallet we've referenced?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that's so funny. You said that right there, because that was going to be my next question, was about the Pool Boy wallet would require a computer. So I wouldn't be able to go and download it to my mobile phone, or could I?
You could probably operate it in a browser, but yeah, no, ideally, no.
Ideally,
it's a desktop,
better on a
desktop
computer.
wallet. Yes.
Okay. Whereas the Diego wallet is intended that would be a mobile wallet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, would the Diego wallet also be able to be run on desktop?
I don't know.
Or is that okay?
I don't see why not, but I don't know.
Okay.
Usually you can go from mobile to desktop, but not the other way around. But it's important to note our strategy. We want to be more like Android, where there's a multiplicity of options for everything, rather than Apple, where it's just iCloud for storage. And so we've paved the way for wallet competition. And Diego's mobile wallet will, I'm sure, be a monster. But that doesn't mean that somebody else couldn't come in and make one better and pretty quickly get all the market share. We want to foster that competition. So not just wallets also, but wallet interface layers. If there's any FIO geeks out there, that's very interesting to be able to connect things together. Also, CoinKit. CoinKit is a tip bot service that we've actually had. We paid them like a year ago, now that I think of it. Shout out to the gentleman over there at CoinKit, if you're listening. So we'll be able to plug Epic in through Telegram, Twitter, and Discord are the channels that he's got going. So we can do things like faucets, giveaways, contests, things like that. We just passed, I think it was 2,145 holders, something like that on Beat. I noticed more and more people are pulling coins off to their local wallets, which is great. But regardless, I think around Christmas we were 1,700, 1,800, something like that. So 300 people, let's say 15-20% community growth over the past quarter are going to get their first dopamine hit of a major bull run as all these catalysts come together.
That's awesome. Okay, well, speaking of that, since E3 has been is fully released, I know that prioritization right after that, we've talked about before, is ECR first, ECK next, based on the snapshot. So can one of you two please just kind of share what's the process now, and where that would show up?
Yeah, so one thing at a time, the wallet track, or let's say the track related to wallets, of which Diego's is the frontest burner one, is kind of one thing. The ECR is another. Essentially, what that will look like is there will be a claim process within the wallet. We're going to try to make it as easy as possible. The beautiful GUI that Poolboy just released will be extended to be able to essentially make it as close to one click, simple and friendly as possible. It needs to be bulletproof, needs to not require people to do 27 complicated steps and, do things that can mess up. So the CLI functionality, the GUI on top of that. And then also, since this is merely the first time we need to do this, not the only time, we're also creating infrastructure that will enable us to onboard mass numbers of people with various drops and grabs and things like that. So we're making investments in infrastructure that support doing more things like this as we go along. So ECR, getting that out into people's hands, we believe, I should say that it is currently our belief that we should take advantage of Bitmart's offer to list ECR. They said because of the delay, they would waive the fees. Now we will have to come up with money for market making, which is a thing that needs to be taken into consideration. But I think that's kind of a no-brainer. If we can get the tokens out into people's hands, they need to be tradable. The DEX infrastructure that's out there, HoneySwap, QuickSwap, and WANSwap, what we discovered is that liquidity tends to get fragmented, because if you want to go from WAN to Polygon, as an example, you have to pay all these gas fees backward and forward and do all this complicated stuff, and people just kind of they don't really want to, and you can get 7,000% a day yields off of like sushi, dog token farming over here. And so if we can have Bitmart as kind of like a centralized L2 to L2, that would enable people to go back and forth between those different ecosystems. So we kind of get a 2-for-1 there. So I would say, now that E3 is out there and bandwidth is freed up, we really should focus our attention on ECR, because what we can do as a community, as an ecosystem with a token is different in many ways than what we can do as a proof of work coin, because the proof of work coin itself needs to basically function as a value transfer layer. It needs to have the miners bang the zeros and ones together and destroy electricity in a competitive process and all this stuff. So for example, there's no governance in Epic. There's no stakeholders that would benefit, getting rich off of the success as there needs to be in the token. So ECR is essentially shares in our startup, if you will. Now that we have the protocol layer, the key building block for our grander ambitions, the next key building block is ECR. And because I would say probably half of our community, something like that, has come within the past 6 months, we need to refresh the conversation and really tell the story as well of how we got here. Things like the value overflow incident, or the decisions to change the mining algorithm, or what are our duties to people that came and went and rug pulled us and misbehaved and this and that. So if anyone wants to post the DAO governance link in the chats, join us there, and let's dust off the topic of ECR and center our focus on that for the next phase of our journey.
So E3 basically was a blocker to be able to execute on delivering or the claim process for ECR. So if there's probably a lot of people like me that have their Epic on Vite, will Vite have an ECR token?
Yeah, well, that's another thing we have to coordinate. So just like Bitmart, there's a process of engaging with operators. Epic is on VGate, but there are others. Things like the withdrawal fee of Epic, it used to be 2 cents, now it's $4. How does that all work? Things like that. So as our ecosystem gets more complex and has more moving parts, we need to exercise more care in the choreography of the synchronized swimming.
And
So
Okay,
anyone
so-
who wants to help with that stuff, please, do reach out, because if you have experience in this type of stuff, more hands make quicker work of all these different threads.
Go ahead, Yoga. You were saying
Yeah,
something?
absolutely. ECR is part of the Vite roadmap because we have people that had balances there at the time of the snapshot and
Right.
so on. So this will be something that we'll need to execute. And in terms of E3 being a blocker, it's more of a step that we had to climb to get on the next step. And the next step and the next step. So it's just, I wouldn't think of it as
Okay.
a blocker, as more of a,
I hear you.
you're climbing a ladder and you just have to, step on that step before you can reach the next one. And the one thing that I see our project in terms of tech at this point, reaching a certain major milestone of stability that if you look at Bitcoin, for example, okay, there hasn't really been a lot of code changes in Bitcoin since the beginning. Aside from fixing their catastrophic overflow incident that created 13 billion Bitcoins in 2010, and another one that didn't have such horrible consequences more recently in 18, Bitcoin has stayed kind of. I would caution for people to wait for the next step in innovation in Epic. I don't think it's necessary. As necessary as it is, we will progress and we are improving, but I just want people to kind of consider, pause and reflect where we are today and the functionality that we already have. Today, there's really nothing preventing Epic the way it is, especially with the introduction of this GUI wallet that we're going to roll out today, to hit that mainstream penetration. It's done. In a sense that it's more than good enough for people to focus on the now. And sorry, Max.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry. It just I had pulled it up here. Check this out. So Bitcoin Core users paid $1 billion in fees due to artificially constrained layer 1 capacity. The 1 megabyte block in 10 minutes was explicitly temporary. Satoshi left instructions.
Are you sharing your screen because you said check this out? Or
oh no, I'm away from it, but so epicmine.org, shout out to them. Their beautiful Explorer has statistics. And so I was playing around with it today. In a little over 2 years, the Epic blockchain has processed 120,000 transactions. And you know what the total fee that network users paid for that entire time was?
what's that?
I think it was 700 Epic coins for 120,000 transactions. So for 2 years, the entire network operation users have paid $1,400 worth of coins. To Yoga's point, we've had that protocol layer capability, but it was just not usable for most people because of things like wallets or lacking, payment proofs or things like that. And all of those things are unblocked now. The world can save lots of time and money and environmental destruction and unnecessary misdirected malinvestment capex waste by switching to Epic today.
Less than a penny per transaction on average.
Yep.
Right. I have a comment. Don Costello said BTC is unaudited spaghetti code. The fact that Epic has not hit the mainstream is a good thing. Gives time to make it bulletproof. I thought that was a very, very astute comment.
Yeah, solid statement. And really, again, there's this tendency to chase improvements into infinity rather than taking action today. And action today means rolling up your sleeves and actually doing something, hitting the like button, hitting a repost, making a, making an insightful comment. Those are like the really basic things that people do that they need to do more of. And then look, telling their friends and family and coworkers about Epic. There's nothing stopping people today from doing that.
I have to share a story, gentlemen, and Max, I'm going to be teeing you up with the list. This is a tee up for your list. But I would just want to share with everyone, I was flying back from Vegas and I had to take a red eye from Vegas to Detroit, 3.5 hours, and then direct back to Tampa. And I would get in like 10 a.m. Hate red eyes. And when I got to Detroit, my flight to Tampa was canceled. And so I had to wait until like 6 a.m. to be able to go now through Atlanta and then to Tampa. Anyway, it took me all day. I was really, really cranky. But when I landed in Detroit, I checked my Telegram. And there, I'm not going to name any names, but there was somebody in there that was like admonishing me basically for saying, look, you guys have overpromised and under-delivered on E3. You had made claims that it would be released Q4, and then also you said probably in January, and it still has it too. It still has it. And you guys have a real credibility issue. I have people sending me messages all the time who are very nervous investors. I was really pissed off. And then what do you know? I got another message from another person with almost exactly the same language. So this was like an orchestrated outreach to Uncle V here to admonish me for this E3 delayed release.
I like the thing when, and we see this as a project grows bigger, you guys are going to see more of this, okay? Because our trolls keep getting better, which is great. That's a evolutionary thing. But one of the things that people say that somebody made a decision.
Yes.
Or somebody didn't make a decision, or somebody spent their own money and they shouldn't have, or somebody didn't spend their own money and they should have. And somebody. Apparently, there's a lot of somebodies that these folks are concerned about when they sit in their angry little troll echo chamber and they, sniff each other's farts and they get high on that. And then it kind of spills into the mainstream. But here's the kind of a reality check. The project is a thing of somebodies, and including you and you and you and you. Everybody is somebody. So instead of saying like, well, why did somebody do this? The question is, why didn't you do that? And if somebody says, hey, why didn't somebody do that? My question is, well, it's an open project of volunteers. Why didn't you do that? So how about you being a somebody instead of being a nobody who wants to just, has idle curiosity and entitlement?
100%.
It's real. I mean, to me, it's pretty simple. It's a meritocratic volunteering community. Okay. And if you don't like something, pick up a shovel and start digging. But also have enough respect for the people that put in their time, their money, their effort, their knowledge, all of that into the project, into making it better. Maybe you don't like it, but somebody else likes it. But the bottom line is, if you don't like it and if you think you can do better, step up. It's really simple.
If anyone has ever gone to a restaurant and ordered it was just on my mind, the wrapped filet max in beef Wellington. If you've ordered a beef Wellington, it comes out and it's pastry shell and you have some pate in there that's nicely made and there's a filet and the combination is just brilliant. It just tastes so good. there is so much that before you see that beautifully served beef Wellington, there's so much that went into creating that back in the kitchen. Well, our back of the kitchen includes a tremendous amount of volunteers. So I'm talking to you both who sent me the messages. You know who you are. Max, I would like you to please, because to me, this live stream right now is about the heroes of Epic. These are the ones that don't have their hand in the air saying, look at what I'm doing, look at what I'm doing. No, these are the guys that have found bugs in the code that if we would have just released it, could have come back to haunt every single one of us. So while you judge and while you say you guys should have, you know, let me tell you the people who are. Max.
Yeah, so I'm sure that I'm going to leave many out. I just did a quick run through based on the most recent messages. The amount of work that went into this is really, really quite substantial. So this is definitely not exhaustive. Pool Boy was the most heroic of the E3 heroes. Carried a lot of the load on his shoulders. Yoga Dude was probably spending 12 hours a day herding cats and pulling all different threads together. Zeke was a beast on testing and trying to break things. It's amazing how many different little things we were able to find and quash just because we had such a huge group of people banging on it. And remember, this is stuff that fundamentally we're using modules that have been out for over a year in many cases in 2 other networks. And so we know that the basics are right, but the usability hasn't been a priority for some of the more raw laboratory stage tech, and we want it to be smooth. So Zeke is low, did a great job on testing. Black Tiger, he put together some stuff on Telegram bots, bees, owls, and squirrels, I think, something like that, like a little team concept of people that were participating in different ways. I think it was a 3-4 month process, building up steam and finding things, quashing them, developing communication pipelines, refactoring documentation. This is not just a release. This is creating our engineering capability for everything that we want to do going forward.
Are you at your computer where you can actually pull up the document or no?
Which document?
The E3.
Oh yeah. Let me just go to
that. That would be nice. People can see
the white paper.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sorry, the white paper or who you're thinking?
Excuse me?
Never mind. No, I'm just trying to figure out which list.
Yeah, no, I know what he's looking for. And incidentally, this document that I'm pulling up is currently being translated into 54 local languages.
Wow.
54. Yeah. When we did the original Epic.
What other projects do that?
Oh, not even close. The biggest of the monster, like multi-100 million VC funded ones might do like a handful of documents in Korean or something or whatever. 2.5 years ago, when we did the original Epic Cash white paper, which we released feature complete at the same time, or the software was feature complete at the same time we released the white paper, just as Bitcoin Core with Satoshi. That was a point of pride. We did 20 languages, and that was just such a Herculean effort to try and pull all that together. We didn't know how to use communication tools like Telegram groups and Slack and GitHub and all the things that we now know how to do. And so now to even be able to attempt 54, much less to have a realistic expectation that they'll be out and done and perfect within a couple of weeks, which they are. I mean, epicentral.io has hundreds of high quality PDFs that are constantly being updated and getting better. So not just these 54 languages are being translated, but the next step beyond that is to help these people set up small businesses like Batuhan, a marketing agency in Turkey, taking that football jersey idea and turning it into a business for himself so that he can buy a home. You know, he'll be able to have DAO tools to do that, you know, and everything he needs. That entrepreneurial spirit, multiply that by as many people as we can get going in as many places as we get going, is how we get to ubiquity. Ultimately, the most used blockchain will be the most valuable blockchain. And so we build in the utility. Now we got to go get the usage.
Okay, wait, Max. The most used would imply that you would have to service the unbanked that are out there. Can Bitcoin do that?
Well, Epic can, because Epic is Bitcoin. Bitcoin Core cannot. BTC. All right, here, let me in. Okay. Let me mute that.
Sorry, guys. Just wanted him to be able to share the screen, but you're hearing me.
Hold on.
Oh. Max. All right, let's see if we're still getting the feedback.
All right, hold on. Windows. Love you, Bill Gates.
Yeah, maybe you don't screen share. Is that your new computer?
Let me send you the link.
Where are you going to send it? Yeah, send it to me in Telegram. Max.
What are you guys sending? Just out of curiosity. I'm sorry, the suspense is killing me here. But
the white paper.
Okay. Can I just throw a couple of names out there since
Please.
we're kind of thanking people. You know, Dave Patulski, you know, Ricardo, Dennis, Zeke, of course, again and again. Thomas Freeman, Aliko, Satoru, Antonio, Josias, our irrepressible Islo. So many amazing people. And then before that, you know, this goes back because again, E3 was started working on this a long time ago, you know. So I mean, a lot of community people, you know, pitched in and helped over the time, you know. I mean, John and James and, you know, Wolfie and a lot of the other folks too. It's just there's so many people that touched this that contributed. Norsimo is another one, you know. The nameless Russian dude.
Mr. Dot.
There's Mr. Dot, you know. There's so many. Todd Lewis, of course. You know, so many people, you know, so many people pitched in and did their part. You know, some helped in the beginning, some helped in the middle, some were there throughout the whole thing, and some helped us close this up in the most professional manner. So
hey, let me ask you this.
This is pretty awesome. Yeah.
Either you or Max take this.
Sure.
Okay. When Pool Boy first sent the code to Todd Lewis, and Todd Lewis went into his Eeyore mode and said, no, we're not releasing this. We have a lot of work left to do. The Pool Boy release was kind of what we were all, at least the uninitiated like me, was thinking when you ship something, that's it, right? So it was shipped back then, but there were a lot of things that Todd wanted to do, which is assign 2 devs to it to go beat the crap out of it and find bugs, which then expanded to a group of about 28, 30 people. So if we would have just let it out there, based upon what I understand, the absolute number of bugs that were found, that just, you know, that's the process. Could there have been a pretty good chance, whether it's this year or next year or the year after, that there could be some kind of compromise that everybody who was bitching about the release or the later release of E3, if we would have just released it, could it have compromised their financial futures?
Well, there's no easy answer, to speculate.
It's more complicated. Yeah, it's more
disasters that
complicated than
might
that.
have happened, but I'll give you an example. So it's not just about the blockchain itself. The blockchain protocol is solid. We had a value overflow incident like Bitcoin Core did in 2010. It was 184 billion, if I recall. So you get a one mulligan in this game. They had theirs, we had ours. Not going to happen again in either case. But really, it's about the other things that connect into it and rely on it. And so let's say that there was some bug in some edge case in the way that a wallet reads the information, and then it works fine when there's 1,000 users, but then it gets to 10,000 users and it breaks. And then some hacker finds a way to steal money, like from a Bitmart. Usually when you unpeel the onion on security incidents and figure out where they happened, it just makes you humble, or at least it does me, about the importance of really leaving not 0.0001% chance, but it has to be zero. If you're capable of engineering to zero, then that's always the smarter play, because in the long term, it's cheaper. How many pump and dump, or things that turned out to be pump and dumps, got ahead of us market wise, that seemed like they had the better approach, but over time the tortoise wins, and because we don't have to go and do disaster recovery, we just do it right the first time.
And one thing I just kind of want to add, and just so that people have the right picture in their mind, is it's not like Pool Boy's code was a problem. His code is freaking phenomenal.
Yes.
Okay? And there were no lethal bugs found. I mean, this is the one thing that we didn't prevent some massive catastrophic thing. I want people to have assuredness that our code is pretty damn good. It's pretty amazing. Okay. It wasn't like we took some kind of a trash pile and we made a car out of it. Okay. It was amazing to begin with. And the improvements were this was more about stability. This was more about connectivity. This was more, stability is a huge part of it to make things run more efficient, because this is an efficiency game, and efficiency gives you more reliability, security, and so on. Okay. So this was not something to prevent some kind of, we're not amateur hour. Okay. The code was not amateur hour to begin with. The code was freaking amazing. Okay.
This is what sorry to interrupt. This is what I was looking for to your point. It's like when you throw all of that resource at the entire amount of code, and what comes back is, there's a conflict resolution part of the code, and they found one bug there. They fix it, right? There's an optimization. So there's server wallet communication. A little bug can be just one thing that means that as I'm transferring something to you, maybe it gets caught up or something. I don't know. You guys know.
And also unlocking new functionality, for example, so there's a lot of incremental stuff, too. So this is make it more legible, make it more readable, et cetera, et cetera. What that translates to, it does translate into stability and security, but it also translates into ease of mass adoption by other developers. That's kind of the other big deal thing, because we want other people to use this. We want people to take our crypto and gamify it, plug it into a video game, plug it into a shopping engine, plug it into a mortgage and whatever, and this is. So the big thing that was missing was documentation. The documentation part, the annotation part on the GitHub has gotten vastly better. Automated testing, so many other things. And one of the things that we build throughout this whole process is a framework for speeding up, massively speeding up future iterations, future improvements. Mm-hmm. So this was a big investment in our infrastructure. It wasn't something that was to, try and kill some bugs that were, that were like showstoppers.
No, that's a good. Thank you for stop gapping that. I guess.
Uncle,
Yeah.
Can you, I know we're getting short on time. Can you pull up?
You know
the
what, today,
throughput section?
today, I don't mind going over because we have a very important update that's coming and we'll take as much time as we need. So go ahead.
Right.
What
So
were you
pull up the throughput section. It's
Down.
scalability, and then under scalability, it has storage requirements and throughput.
Yes, sir. Right. Oh, am I showing my screen? I'm not.
No.
Okay, sorry, everyone. I thought I was. Okay, there you go.
All right. So so right now, Epic as E3 is a 1 megabyte block and a 60-second block time, 1 minute. And that configuration, we get 1,000 transactions per block. That's where we get the 17 transactions per second from. So what we did, and ECK will actually have this cadence programmed in, and if it works, then we move Epic to this. So why are we going to need? We think we're going to need so many transactions. We need to support developers for those transactions. We need to make sure that we have the capability to handle them. And so we did some modeling. It turns out that if you go from 2 megabytes to 4 to 8 to 16, 64, it looks like we forgot 32, a typo in there. We'll fix that. And then shrink the block time 50, 40, 30, and so on. That you get this dramatic increase in throughput. So at 128 megabytes by 10 seconds, and we can do this faster if we need to, and we're proven safe. 6,400 transactions a second is over 4 times Visa, and that's 5 years from now. Yeah, and for a penny.
Well, in just 2 years, you would be at Visa's level, right?
Yeah, and this is this is on a single chain, a single shard. We could do more shards, more fiber, basically. It introduces some other trade-offs, so we'd have to be very careful about that. But essentially, this is a big part of where we're going to win, is the scalability. No other tech can do anything like this, and the differences get more dramatic over time. A lot of systems are basically as fast and as a high capacity as they are able to get. They're getting every last bit of juice out of the squeeze, and we haven't even begun to explore that process.
So everyone, this is a nice opportunity for me to tell you that every single one of my videos, if you just give me a little time after the show and when it renders, whenever I find the right shot for the thumbnail, I go into my notes, and if there was something specific that was spoke about that had a link, I always include it in there. So there is just a wealth of information in all of my show notes. So please just know that that's a consolidated resource for you always. All right, let's pivot here. Basically, team developers, thank you. This is an awesome milestone that has been hit. E3 has been released. So I presume, Max, that means that the updated code is on GitHub. Is that a silly question? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's on
Yes.
GitHub, and we're pushing it to epic.tech/downloads as we speak.
Okay, so people can go, who are
Awesome.
smarter than me, could go in there and they could find it. So cool. All right, we're going to make a pivot here. Let me do one thing. And this, we're going to be talking about Bitmart. And want to just share with you, when people talk about they and you and why haven't, and all of these things, what happens, at least within the Epic ecosystem, the Epic community, is when we have an important initiative, we spin up a Telegram group that would include key people who would have the technical abilities to be able to interact and talk. So there is a Bitmart group on Telegram that includes people from their team and people from our teams. So that's where when Enrique, who's really running point for us, Enrique will be able to give us the updates to where we found it in there that the listing was going to happen the 21st. Today is the 20th. And so tomorrow, that's when they list. And then there's a couple of days before you'll see it appear to where you can deposit coins or others can go in and buy it. So that's the 21st. Okay. So this is welcome to the they camp, to you guys camp. All right. So we had conversations with Bitmart a couple of weeks ago, followed up by a live stream that I did where we talked about it, to where they were saying, hey, look, you need to do a market maker. It's going to be 50,000 Epic coins and $50,000. And I'm not going to explain what market making is, but it was basically we suggest. Okay. So we all talked about it within that Bitmart group and made a determination that, look, let's go organic on this. We are just very confident in our project. Let's go organic. And so we informed them of that decision. Well, on the 18th, which was Enrique, 2 days ago?
2 days ago. Yep, 2 days ago.
So on the 18th, we get a message that says, oh, by the way, unless you have your market making in place, then our legal team won't allow us to list you. But wait, the original agreement we signed last year didn't have that. Yeah, that was signed pre whatever event they had, to where, that was that big issue that pushed everything back for us. I guess after that, there became some, new lawyers and new rules or whatever. So fast forward. All right. So we have the conversation a couple of weeks ago. We make our decisions. We politely say no, didn't hear anything. Okay. But on the 18th, we get a message that it's not a we suggest, it's a you have to, or we don't list. So guys, we're supposed to list tomorrow, right? And it's going to require, they were nice, not 50,000 Epic coins, but 30,000 and 30,000 of USDT. If you haven't been paying attention, we are a community project. There is no CFO that we can say, hey, that exchange budget you have, we need $30,000 of that. We need 30,000 coins. Guys, it's you and me and everybody who holds coins. We're all in this together, right? So with that, we have a decision to make. And that decision is, do we just get the refund? Because that's an option. It was a $50,000 investment, which there are a group of people who raised that the $50,000. That's what got us on there. Do we just get that back and just say, man, that sucks? Or do we make a community decision and are open kimono with you to say, this just happened this week? We were as surprised as anyone. So any of you ankle biters out there who are so quick to judge, look yourself in the mirror, because you're part of the we, and we can solve it. With that solution, I'm going to hand it over to you, Enrique. Enrique, do you need me to, why don't you explain what's happening? And then if you want me to screen share, I have the community crowdfunding campaign pulled up if you want me to reference it.
Sure. Yeah, I'll just recap what you said and what Max said earlier about market making. So basically, in order to ensure the successful reception, Bitmart requires new listings to put up liquidity, as you said, and typically they require $50,000 in protocol tokens and $50,000 in USDT to create that liquidity. However, in our case, because of the delays and all the issues that they had on their end that affected our listing in December, they agreed to drop it to 30,000 tokens, $30,000 worth of Epic. It's not 30,000 Epic, so it's
okay, 30
lower. So it's like 16,000 at the current price.
Okay.
And $30,000 USDT. So basically, the Epicenter DAO has $30,000 worth of Epic. So that's not going to be a problem. But on the other side, the 30,000 USDT, that's what we need to raise from the community. And, we do not want to sell coins at this price. So we asked the community, to support this listing by buying EIOU tokens to be redeemed at $1 face value worth of Epic later, post price discovery, in exchange for the USDT. So aside from the fact that Bitmart, that the listing will improve the value of our holdings, we're offering a 2-for-1 bonus. So what that means is that a $1,000 EIOU purchase will get you $2,000 worth of Epic later. And we expect to be able to redeem all outstanding IOUs after market acceptance. So basically, you'll get twice as much from whatever amount you contribute to the market making initiative here. And as you said, we were only informed about this 2 days ago, and since the Bitmart listing was a community driven effort, and it remains that way. So we gotta tackle this as soon as possible. Ideally, I don't see why we can't raise that amount of money in, say, 24 hours.
Well, let me share with you, or maybe you can share. So basically, the goal is not just $30,000. We wanted to be able to do Voss coin, which would connect to all the miners of the people out there. He would do his thing that would basically just pump us to his hundreds of thousands of people. They would become aware of Epic, and it would be
500,000 subscribers.
500,000 subscribers. And then BitBoy is another one to where he was going to do a shout out about Epic. And you know how many he's over a million.
1.3. 1.3. Yeah. Million. So we already have it written up. It's ready to go. So let's call it 35 grand instead of 30.
Well, actually,
with
6,300 total. So
okay, all right. So 36. Yeah. I think there's, but there's two others in there that we didn't get done that we're not going to mention yet. But whether it's 5 or 6, whatever, we have a stoked fire that is burning, and we haven't thrown any kerosene on there just yet. I think it'd be a great time to grab some kerosene and throw it on there. And so I would encourage everybody, to look at, okay, if you have spare cash on the sidelines, every $500, every $50, every, whatever you can spare helps. As soon as we get it covered, we'll send it in, and they've been ready to go for days. Veet is ready to go. This unblocks a lot of things. There's no reason we can't blow through to uncharted territory. And so I would encourage people to, ask themselves, what does that mean for your quality of life, your wealth, your ability to do what you want with your time and make a better world for you and people that you care about. If we get to whatever level, market cap parity with Monero is $250 a coin. When we pass Litecoin, that's $600 a coin. When we pass BTC, your meme, Epic and Bitcoin Core are two ships passing in the night. They're both going to $1,000. I think there's a lot of truth to that. But regardless of where we get to, there's a lot of upside from here. We're not going to be less well known, less hard to use, less accessible. I could go on, but it's only going to get better from here. And so sucks as it is to, to have to reach into our pockets for an unexpected cost. I think we can all agree it's going to be worth it. So let's hold our nose and do it and move on to the next success.
And it's not really holding our nose. And we've already, and look, I just got back last night. I mean, we got on a call this morning to work on what you're seeing right now. So this is, instead of, again, I'm coming back to the ankle biters because they piss me off so much. This is when they say you guys and this and that. Are you meaning us that are kind of public facing who try to figure this stuff out to move forward? You mean us who get in here as problem solvers? And us, I will tell you, I looked at this, and for me, so for me, it was a no-brainer because I know a rising tide lifts all ships. And I have literally, I know Bitmart has 8 million users. So getting on Bitmart, I believe, is going to be a game changer. So when I look at the value proposition that I can get, let's see, for every, Enrique, can you explain this again? Basically, I know that I sent you this morning to get things started 1,000 coins, right? And that's a nice thing. Yeah. It's not like you have to go buy EIOUs, right, Max?
Oh, correct.
It's you can send in BTC, you can send in Epic Cash, which is what I did. I sent 1,000 coins in there, and I know others in our group did. So we're already up to what, Enrique, as far as dollars?
We're up to $8,350. So 8,350 out of 36,000. We're already about 23% to our goal. So
yeah, and we just started having these conversations about, well, what do we do 2.5 hours ago? So we're already 25% of the way there. I'm a sales guy, round up. Yeah. And there are multiple ways that if you have USDT, if you have, let's just go down here. And we're going to be publishing this in the chats, how to participate. I just sent I sent my 1,000 coins to this address. And then the question is, Enrique, that we'll have to answer is, how then are we going to keep track of those people who donated? You don't have to answer now. I just want to.
It's easy. If you donate, send me the transaction hash or the link to the transaction and your pseudonym, because we'll do some community recognition. And,
yeah, absolutely.
And so if you send me the transaction ID, we'll keep a record of how many EIOUs correspond to you.
So just so that I get this straight, my 1,000 coins that I sent in, which I think was, let's just call it $2,000, right?
Yeah. You also have to send your EIOU byte address to receive the tokens.
Okay, is that clear in here?
Yeah, that's at the right there where it says miscellaneous coins. Below that, right there, it says tag L McMurphy on Telegram, and 1 cent. Please DM me with the link to the transaction and your byte address to receive the IOU tokens. So whatever coin you
we bold that.
Yeah.
The beat and your Epic address is the same as your EIOU address. So one beat address as for all assets.
Okay.
So just what you're used to using, you can use that still.
So then let's just use me as a use case. I send in the 1,000 coins. It's valued about $2,000. What am I going to be getting back in return?
You would be getting back 4,000 EIOUs.
Okay. So this is an investment, not an expense. In my mind, that this is the rationale. So I'm like, you know what? That's a fair offer. you know, yeah, I'll do this. I'll throw 1,000 coins because this is worth it to me. So I really hope everybody, when we publish this, comes and participates. Now, we're going to, once we crush this goal, then we pull the trigger on Bitmart. So anybody out there who's saying, when are we going to get on Bitmart? Or, oh, there's another delay in Bitmart. We could still keep our same schedule if everybody who hears this and sees this supports it. You know, probably best, easiest way is to send some Epic Cash. That's what this channel's all about. But the best way to, we're the ones that are going to make this happen. Now, this is unfortunately one of those, excuse my language, but hey, shit happens in life, right? This is not, this just was brought to our attention on the 18th, 2 days ago. So we're reacting and responding. And they always say, it's not the problem, it's how the problem is managed. And so I think this is a very, very reasonable way to be able to manage this. And if anyone wants to just be benevolent and do the whole thing, God bless America and everywhere else in the world. We would really like that. But this is what's going to help us get there. We're not going to cap it at the 36, whatever. If there is more, that's just going to allow us to be able to have more of a marketing budget. So this is something that we can continue to support. But I'll tell you, everybody, only with your permission, everybody who contributes is going to be acknowledged. We are going to have a celebratory Zoom call, a Friday live stream, have fun. And we're going to talk about the heroes that helped us get on Bitmart. And those heroes are you know what? And look, regarding the amounts, it's like, we're not saying send half your bag, you know, but this is in your best interest and my best interest. We get on Bitmart, and then all of the sudden, let's just say that $1,000 of Epic that was sent because of the rest of my bag, I'm seeing within a week that bag being $10,000 or $20,000, right? Because I was able to help seed it. Whereas if we don't do Bitmart and we just get that $50,000 refund back, that's an option too that's still on the table. So it's where we are, sports fans. We have great news, I said at the beginning, which is E3 and the heroes that helped that. And we have great news too, which is we're about ready to go live on Bitmart, but there was just a little bit of a speed bump put in our way. And it was no longer, you know, we suggest you do this. It was, you have to. We don't care about the contract that was signed. We had our own issues since, and now it is just part of our legal framework that we require this. So, and it's not like that market making isn't going to help us look better. It's just, you just have to know with market making, if it says that we traded $5 million, you know, it's just these bots trading back and forth to each other, but that helps keep trading really, really tight. I don't know anything about it, so why the hell am I talking about it? But Max, Enrique, do you have anything to add on this?
Yeah, just one thing. I mean, to me, I see this as not only a contribution, but a contribution that will make a difference in the value of what I hold. It's pretty simple and straightforward to me. So I encourage everyone to, you know, to think about it. And, you know, if you want to contribute, you know, we're all rowing in the same direction. So
okay,
that's basically all I have to say.
Okay. To make it simple, this just off the top of my head, Enrique, does it make sense for you to spin up a specific group that would just be dedicated where people can then DM you the information, but that's where they could go and just say, hey, I would like to, and you could just kind of, the document could be pinned in there, and we can then attach that new group to all of our different communities. And then what you're going to do, you're going to update it, right? You're going to update the community with the spreadsheet, being able to show how much we received in Bitcoin, how much we received in Epic Cash. So it's going to be totally transparent, where people are going to, it's not going to say people's names. It's just going to be the value of those coins and the total. So
absolutely. There's one account, and I'll create a group, pin this message in all the groups, and update it many times during the day, so people will see exactly what the wallet holds, what coins, it'll be as transparent as can be.
I just pulled the numbers in case anyone is doubting what kind of impact this will have on their financial position. So Bitmart, even after their hack, it used to be as high as 3 billion. Now it's 1.3 billion a day. VTEX does around 100,000, or at least that's what I'm looking at here. So 10,000 times, I think that is, I may be wrong, 1,000 times, 10,000 times, orders and orders of magnitude greater market access are in front of us. It could be really explosive. The 40 grand we need on a 20 million market cap. What is that? 5 basis points or something. If only a small subset of our people care enough to not even spend, just loan really to the DAO through these IOU tokens, 1% of their holdings, the 99% that you keep could transform your life. So even just the 20 people listening, Uncle, you sent 1,000, I sent 1,000. I think Yoga sent 1,000 as well. I don't know who else came in. Yeah. We're here, we're doing it. Everybody needs to get behind this. It's as simple as that.
Excellent. I just posted a link to that document in the chat. So there it is. If somebody wants to get an advanced look at it, take a look yourself. But I hope everyone participates, and that you can appreciate. It's great being those ankle biters who says, "Why don't you do this and why don't you do that?" I love this because anyone comes to me about Bitmart delay or anything, I'm gonna why haven't you helped us get there? I haven't seen your name on the list. So this will be kind of a nice opportunity and a scorecard of those who really are the community members who just aren't self-entitled. So go ahead, Max.
Yeah, and I think it demonstrates that we are capable of coming together to make things happen without resorting to centralization. We talked about Ethereum and the whales that drive that. Imagine we're just sitting around with cigars and snifters of brandy, scratching each other's back and making deals. Ha ha, Smithers, you get the railroads, I'll take the oil industry. Ha ha. No, we're trying to be true to our founding principles, and that means airing a bit of not even dirty laundry, just this is par for the course when you're dealing with centralized infrastructure, and also should highlight the intelligence of our structural choices as far as really focusing more on the decentralized side. It's a little slower to spool up, but you don't have things like this because you just go to GitHub and read the code and make it work, and then your blockchains talk to each other. So I think this is a great example of one of those things that makes sense today and it gets us a step forward. But we certainly wouldn't want to go and go, yay, okay, now we're going to go on KuCoin, let's go do this again, and then let's go do another one and another one. that's kind of the old way of getting to prominence. We can go straight to decentralized stuff, and we should. So the trading that's coming in the nearest future trading that's coming, atomic swap, is Bitcoin Core, BTC, and Litecoin, LTC. So we'll be able to provide new trading options.
Now, Matt, and I want to ground that, because part of our meeting, when we met, I was admonishing you with love. We were having a conversation with Josh. People know Joshua. He is just awesome. I didn't know he lived in Vegas, but we all had lunch together, and he was just blown away. He knows his stuff with crypto. He's into all of the privacy coins. And so he was able to get, a master's class from Max, and Max was talking about E4. We're going to be able to do the atomic swap with these projects, and E5, and then E6 and E7. And yesterday I got back and I said, hey, Max, let's learn our lesson here with E3. Let's just talk about future releases instead of very specific which E, so that we don't ever give the ankle biters the ammunition again to come at us and judge us for making responsible decisions, like checking the code and documenting the code and testing the code and kicking it till it stopped crying. Instead, it'll be, hey, E4 was just released, and now let's tell you what we can do. Is that fair to say, Max?
Yeah, so the reason that I talk about the things that I do when I do is that it tends to prompt a coalescence of when we figure out what's possible, then, okay, should we do it? And is it worth doing? And then who's going to do it? And how does that all come together? I personally at this point have a pretty good idea of what is going to be able to come where, if the will exists to go and do it, because at the end of the day, there's always a competition for scarce and finite resources. Mm-hmm. And if the community doesn't think that Bitmart is worth $30,000, then it won't happen. Just like if the community doesn't think BitBoy and Bosscoin aren't worth $5 or $6 grand, then that won't happen. And so when I talk about, hey, we can do Bitcoin and Litecoin, not these other ones, here's why. It's because we know the code exists. We can go get it from over here. It's just a matter of somebody going, oh yeah, I'm interested. Let me go and make that happen. If nobody would use Litecoin as an example, then we don't even need to bother to do it. And so a lot of times what happens is when as we do every week, we talk about stuff, and let's say 20, 30 people are listening, and maybe 50, 100 catch it later. I'll get messages from people like once in a while going, hey, did you know about this? Have you heard about that? I know a guy for this. And so that showing a little bit of leg often prompts the manifestation of those things. And also it's a good litmus test, provides immediate feedback if something is bad and wrong. Like in talking to Joshua, when I told him that Pirate would be an E9, he's like, whoa, where's Hush? You mean they're at 5? No, what can we do to be faster? And we've been wanting to get some love from Pirate for a long time, and they didn't care. And maybe this gets them to care. So absolutely, I fully I'm on board with giving less ammunition to trolls and ankle biters. And we just want to make sure that's not at the expense of being able to, execute our beautiful sausage making magic.
Right. I think, my message being is no more dates or promised timelines or anything like that. It's just, hey, if not anything, it's, I know this is my first rodeo and we're learning as we go. So these are just important lessons that if there was another Uncle V coming behind me that started working with a different project and we had an hour to talk over lunch and he was asking for advice, I'd say write down in your notepad, make sure that the whole project knows that dates are great and you really want to get people excited about things. but deadlines get missed, and often for good reason. And it just ends up coming back to haunt, unfortunately, because for some reason, there were a couple of people over the weekend that seemed that I'm a flashpoint for why the delays. And so they're admonishing me, and I'm just one of you guys. That's it. I just have a big mouth. Hey, shout out Becky Boo. I didn't realize this, but when you're watching the live stream, like after it's been live, so like 2 days later or whatever, you can actually click right in the middle of where the screen is. I don't know what it looks like, but there's an icon that you can click that will show you all of the live stream comments that come in as the show. So just exactly when and where somebody popped in a comment. I never knew that. It always broke my heart. I'm like, man, I don't read all the comments. I wish I could go back and do that. So now I know
You can.
So thank you, Becky Boo. Okay. So Enrique, I presume that shortly after this call, there'll be a new group spun up, and you'll drop announcements everywhere, and we'll have a tracker. And if you wouldn't mind, not just in that spun up group, but maybe you could also in the main Epic Cash community
And probably drop a link in this description for this video, also on YouTube, so people can go there too from here.
Say again.
Adding a link once we actually have the group, adding a link to
yes.
this video.
Yeah, absolutely. In my show notes, I'll absolutely do this, because we're going to keep this open-ended, guys. So there may be in let's say that we get through the $36,300, but there's still 10 grand in there. It's just going to be open kimono for everyone, and then we'll have different conversations, marketing conversations of, hey, where do we want to use that? It's kind of like our community budget. So this is how it works. Communities have a coffer, and it's going to help us, and it's going to grow or it's not going to grow. It's up to us. But we will do something with it that's going to help your and my bag. So I think sometimes things end up working out for the better, because that'll be kind of a cool update on Fridays. Excuse me, let me just shut that off. That would be a nice update, Enrique, on Fridays, to be able to say, hey, Enrique, how we doing in our community marketing budget? And maybe there's a Epic Cash Friday where we present 3 options to the group, and everybody in the group, in the chat, helps us decide, does it make sense or not? And in your group, we can have that conversation. So absolutely, lemons to lemonade, folks. I think this is all going to work out. So I talked a lot. Any of you guys have anything additional to add or want to share?
Just one small thing,
Sure.
As much as we enjoy placating trolls and various entitled people, there's really a lot of work to be done, a lot of positive things. We delivered a really powerful milestone. I think, we can, celebrate that. And then this is new ammunition for us to push Epic forward. We got the tools. I don't want to diminish the importance and the potential of this important milestone. I think that this is really the most important thing that we get going right now. We need to run with it. We need, this is going to be a big deal. We have the tools to push mass adoption at this point. So all the noise guys, all the trolls, they'll always be there. Okay. And wasting time, look, it's when somebody do this or somebody doesn't do that. Now just be that somebody, be a somebody, and pitch in and move things forward. And this is not, I used to say when I post a tweet or something and I ask the community, it's like, hey, please retweet this, or please, help us, retweet. It's not helping us, it's helping yourself. I mean, this is the cool thing, is like everything you do here helps you. It's an opportunity, to flex your power and really take things to the next level and be a part of this revolution, that doesn't kill, that doesn't rob people, that doesn't destroy anything. This is a very constructive revolution, I just think people need to flex their power and realize this. And, the trolls and seagulls, they'll always be there, but,
Seagulls.
we don't owe them anything. They're just there. They're just, the background. But everybody else, we got work to do.
I love
Yeah.
the idea now of pointing the trolls to Enrique's community marketing program and be able to say, hey, that's where the action is. People who really want to get involved in and have these great ideas, go on over there. And if Enrique can't answer anything or whatever, or if you're really tech minded, he'll point you to the right direction where you can help, where
everybody can participate. Everybody can participate.
Yeah.
This way, that way, another way. We have so many ways in which people can participate.
Hey,
the key is doing it.
Hey, my big takeaway from all of this, guys, when I sit back, having learned what I have over the course of a year, when I sit back and I remember all of the you shouldas, you should have been on this centralized exchange. You should have been on that centralized exchange. It's like now I'm starting to figure out why, Max, why you have been so allergic to going down that path. And I just want to thank you because they all play this game, I'm sure. This is their business model that people don't realize. And once they have the hook in, I mean, I don't think this is going to be their last ask of us. And then with the threat of, well, if you don't, no problem with us, we'll just delist you. That's very powerful. So the more we can not ever do another one of these again in our lives, I don't know if that's possible, but or I don't even know if we can.
And also they're gonna there's nothing preventing them from lending out the coins that our users leave on there. So we have undermined our core value proposition to that extent as far as scarcity, because there's 19 million BTC in existence at the network layer. But I think there's probably at least 50, if not 100 million out there due to the fractional reserve merry-go-round. And so that's another reason why if we stay disciplined, we can have a higher value per coin because we haven't let them be cheapened by that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, so it's been a while since we've gone this long in a live stream, but I have personally enjoyed every minute of it. I just looked up. I was thinking we're probably at 15 minutes over or 40 minutes over. So time flew when you're having fun. So that's it for me, guys. Everyone in the chat, thanks for we were hanging the whole time around 30 people in there. And so and there are 39 likes. So thank you. That's very, very helpful. This was fun. We will be back this coming Friday for back to our regular time. But thank you for giving us some of yours. And if you're watching this later, please go find Enrique's new group. As a matter of fact, click down below, because by the time you're watching this, I'll have a link to it in there. And let's let the party begin, guys. Let's this is what communities do. And we are a darned good one. Okay, guys, I wish everyone a great